Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for our presentation. I know that your time is extremely valuable, but we feel that what you're going to learn today will prove to be wise usage of your time. You may have noticed that for today's presentation, we've placed everyone on mute mode, so if anyone joins us a little bit late, then we won't be disturbed. But if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into that chat screen you see on the right of your screen, and we will answer those questions at the end of the presentation. If for some reason we don't get to your question, we will answer it the email after the presentation. Today's webinar is why your website is your greatest home care marketing tool, and it's also a look inside our popular monthly marketing, sales, and design program called MOST. My name is Marissa Snook, and I am the MOST program administrator and one of two managing directors at CoreCubed. And I work closely with all of the MOST clients to make sure that they are getting the most out of the program and enjoying every minute of it and growing their agencies. We are also joined today by Marilee Orsini. It looks like Marilee's having a little bit of trouble with the screen, so hopefully that will come back up. But let me introduce you to Marilee while she's working on that. She is an expert aging care marketing strategist, and she opened her own home care industry many, many years ago and ran it successfully for over 17 years. And she transferred her passion after she sold that business into working with home care agencies across the country to help them grow their agencies like she did through strategic marketing practices. And she has been speaking all over the country on these topics ever since. CoreCubed is the business that she founded and runs and has been implementing Marilee's strategies for clients in the home care, home health care, in general, the aging care industry for many, many years. And there we go. There's me. I'm glad everything is working smoothly. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Marilee.
Thank you so much, Marissa, and I apologize. I have been having internet connectivity problems for the last couple of days, and we have our friendly technicians are working on it, but periodically something happens. So thank you for coming today, and I'm so glad that we are back online, and actually hopefully you can see the information that we have for you today. So the thing that we are talking about today is why your website is your most important marketing tool. And basically, the reason it's your most important marketing tool is that it really is the most frequently used consumer tool when looking for care. And we know this, and we can actually prove this through statistics. So let me run through some of these with you, some of these statistics, because there are so many people now who are actually Googling things. I don't want to just say shopping, but people, when they have a need, they actually go online to find either the answer to their question or something that will solve their problem. And it is becoming more and more common for there to be searches on the internet. So, sorry, I am trying to do one more thing, which is not being very cooperative, so I apologize for that. Well, give me 1 second. Okay, we'll see if this works. But you have so many people, and the numbers continue to increase. I mean, we've been working with digital marketing since 1998 now, if you can believe that, a very long time. And we have watched this transition, this technological transition. We have watched it pretty closely because obviously what we're trying to do is help you all sell your home care businesses. So we continue to see these numbers increase. And right now, over half, actually getting close to, well, actually over 2/3 of the buyer's journey is done digitally. I'm not certain if I believe that 85% of the customer's experience is not even going to include human interaction by 2020, but it certainly is headed that way. What we do know now is there still is consumer interaction when you are talking about purchasing home care services, because once people actually are interested and engaged and going to call your and thinking of your business for services, then they're going to pick up that phone and call you. But let's go back to the business of internet and websites, and this is a really amazing thing in this day and age, to know that statistically half of small businesses do not have websites. Now, what we are seeing across the country is that there are home care agencies who have been in business for a long time and who have a good supply of customers and a good supply of referral sources. And as their customers are moving elsewhere or passing away, then they obviously have to get more customers and get more referral sources. So what happens is agencies that really never had to think about marketing before are now thinking about marketing. So we don't run into too many businesses in home care that don't have websites, but I feel certain that if half of small businesses don't, that there's probably some people on this call today that don't have a website, or that might have a website that's woefully out of date, or that your nephew or niece or neighbor down the street did, and hasn't really been maintained and did not have any type of special marketing or sales thought going into it. So this is a 2016 survey, so fairly recent survey, and those businesses, those small businesses that don't have websites, basically say their website isn't relevant to their business or industry, or perhaps it costs too much. And then the other interesting factor, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, is that of those that do have websites, 23% of them, which is almost a quarter, are not mobile friendly, and another 9% don't even know if they're mobile friendly. So you're back up into the third, either who are not mobile friendly or don't even know if they are, which I suspect if they don't know they are mobile friendly, then they may not be mobile friendly. But it is so important today not only to have a website, but to have a website that people can find you on. And why is it important to have a mobile-friendly website? Well, it's important because people are searching more and more now on their devices. They're using tablets, they're using their smartphones. So if you don't have a website, you are missing out on an amazing amount of potential business. And if you do have a website and it's not updated and it's not mobile friendly, you are still missing out on a whole lot of business. According to Home Care Pulse's 2016 benchmarking survey, they're just getting ready to come out with the 2016 survey. They're just getting ready to come out with 2017. 31.2% of the agencies that participated in their survey last year said that the internet and their website is their top consumer marketing source. So most of the agencies that do participate in Home Care Pulse's benchmarking survey, I would say, are agencies that are very interested in doing what is right in order to grow their business, because it is such a wonderful tool to actually compare yourself against others. And but pay attention, because if done correctly, your website can be one of your most important referral tools, and certainly from a consumer standpoint. Again, if you've got everyone searching for care and searching for answers to questions and going to the internet when they have problems and they're looking for solutions, then your agency website is your most important marketing tool, because that's exactly where people are going to go first. We like to say that operating a home care business without a website It's really similar to being a contractor without a hammer. It really is your most important tool. Now, this is not to say that you shouldn't have done some of the other marketing strategic things before you do the website. Number one, it should be branded, and your agency should be branded. So you should have a good common look and feel that resonates with what your mission is and why you're in business. So you really do have to have that component. You also have to have some written material because you will meet people. You know, home care is very much a people-to-people business. So you will be meeting people. You will be talking to people. You will be following up with people. So you have a lot of interaction with people. But your website is really going to be where people are going to go check you out. Even if they meet you at a networking event, they are going to go to your website to check up on what's the business look like? Do you look like a successful business? Do you have answers to some of their most frequently asked questions? Do you have your staff listed on the website so that the searcher can see what type of people you have working for you? So it really is your most important tool. And your website is absolutely key to educate and to build your reputation. One of the things that I have found interesting over the years is that a lot of the people who start home care businesses have had a personal family experience, and that personal family experience was not pleasant for them, and they say to themselves, you know what? We can do this better. And so people start a home care business. But what happens is, whatever their experience was with caring for a parent or a relative or a loved one, that tends to be their only experience. And what happens in home care is there are many, many different reasons why someone might need care. And there's a huge component of the population that has dementia and needs care. And then there's probably not as many, but a large portion of the population that is having physical frailties that are causing them to need care, but they are fine mentally. So when you talk about education on a website, you really do have to have answers to people's questions when they need care, because that's really what they're looking for. If my mother has Alzheimer's disease and I'm doing a search on the web, what I want to do is find an agency that I feel understands Alzheimer's and is going to provide my mother with the very best care possible. So your website is really key for that education. It's also key for reputation building. We'll talk about reputation building a little bit more in a minute, but reputation building in today's digital marketing world means that you have to have positive reviews. You have to have people following you. You have to have interesting stories to tell so that people can actually read those stories or see those stories or connect with those stories. So the website is absolutely perfect for that. And again, when we are in this era of digital marketing where you have all these new, absolutely brand new phenomena of micro-marketing moments, then people are really, really looking to be able to compare services as they're looking on the internet to try to solve their problem, their care problem, whoever they have a care problem for. The other thing is getting your business found. If you build a website and you don't do anything to make it search engine friendly, then you're going to have a hard time getting your business found unless someone is actually Googling you by the name of your business and the location. You're going to have a hard time doing that. But if you build your website correctly, if it is mobile enabled, if it has been built with search engine optimization in mind, if it has some content on it that answers people's questions and educates them, then you will your business will be found. So that's really what the website is key for. In some of the larger metropolitan areas now, there are hundreds of home care agencies. So you want to be one of the home care agencies that people find and that people call for service. The other thing, and this is really becoming more and more important, and that is actually using your website interactively so that you are capturing data about those people who are coming and asking questions and looking for solutions to their problems, and you are generating leads from those people that are coming to your website. It's not a hard thing to do, but it is something that you have to set up and do and understand how to do it and how it feeds into your marketing processes. But if you are doing this correctly, you can capture leads and you will have, gold mine hot leads to follow up on because they've come to you. They have a problem and they are searching for a solution, and you have come up on the radar because of your website. So you capture that lead, and then your next step obviously is to try to get an in-home assessment and then start service. But the website is absolutely perfect for that. The other thing that a website is incredibly important for is first impressions and extending your brand identity. When someone is looking for services or products, when someone is going through websites, they are on your website for a very small amount of time, probably 5 seconds or 10 seconds, so a very short time period where they are looking for something, and they will know it when they see it. So if your website is clean and crisp and it loads quickly and it has user experience positive invitations for people to come in and solve their problems or find out more about something or look at something or explore something, then that's a wonderful first impression. And if you have done your branding correctly, your website should be able to extend that brand so that people start becoming familiar with why you're in business and what your brand is. Talked a little bit about building a solid reputation before, but your website is an absolutely perfect tool for that. 80% of consumers are now going online for health information. And 80% of internet users, about 93 million Americans, have searched for health-related topics online. If you have information on your website that people are searching for, that will build your reputation as a thought leader and build your reputation as a resource. And if someone finds information on your website that answers their question, they are very likely to either share that information with someone else or in social media, or they are likely to bookmark that page so that when they want more information, they're going to go back because they have found your website to be helpful. And one of the things that is crucial for your website is that you have relevant content on that website. It is that relevant content that helps your agency stand out and also answers people's questions, and also we're not talking that much about search engine optimization today, but that's how your website gets found. And if you have relevant content on your website, Google loves fresh content and Google loves relevant content. So if it's done professionally and it is well written and it is helpful and people are finding it and sharing it and using it, your agency will stand out. That is sort of a basic here in terms of how people find information, how they use it, and what they do with it once they get it. And it all helps you to build a solid reputation as a quality home care provider. I love this. If you're on a ladder and you're going to hang a picture frame, if you don't have a ladder in your hammer in your tool belt and you've only got one in the tool shed, then you're going to be, sort of say up the creek without a paddle, but up the ladder without a hammer. And people who are searching are definitely going to click on your website if it comes up on the first page. So if it's on the second or third page, you might get some clicks, but there are lots of statistics that show that if you're on the first page of a website, that you are going to get far more clicks than if you're not on that first page. Now, search engine optimization, which I said I wasn't going to talk that much about, is really the strategy that gets your website found. And if the search engine strategy ties back to relevant content, ties back to the amount of content that you have, ties back to how many people are actually coming to your website and interacting with you, and ties back also to the way that you are using that content and spreading it around in different places. So an SEO strategy actually in this day and age is at the point where it isn't a do-it-yourself process anymore. It really has become fairly complicated with the competition and with the changes in technology. It's become complicated to really try to do your own search engine optimization. So, but done correctly, you will find yourself with people checking out your website, calling you, filling out those forms, and you will have leads that are being generated. Marketing beyond the website, when I talked about gathering information from people, and when I talked about lead generation, you can have newsletter sign-up forms, you can have contact us forms, you can have white paper, you can have information, you can have testimonials, you have lots of different things on your website that people may want to look at. And if you capture their email addresses while they are on your website, then you will be able to market to those people later, and you'll be able to follow up with them. And you'll be able to keep them in your pipeline so that you will continue to follow up with them, and even if they choose another agency initially, you have their information, and if you continue to communicate with them, if they've had a bad experience or maybe their loved one had some home care and then went back in the hospital and is now coming out again and they want to try another agency, then you are just primed to be able to get that lead and to convert that lead into a client. You're also building relationships. It used to be that the only time people called home care agencies is past when they needed care. So their mother was being released from the hospital, or the spousal caregiver has passed away or been incapacitated, and that was when people call for help. It's actually, as home care becomes a little more widely known, people are actually doing some searches before they are desperate for the care. So that will allow you, if you're capturing those people, to have that pipeline so that you can continue to build relationships with them, you can continue to communicate with them about those things that they've expressed an interest in, and you will have a built-in pipeline for your leads and for your clients and referral sources. And you know, if you're not doing this, then one of your competitors is doing it or will do it in the near future. So in order to keep up, in order to move ahead, in order to get new business, your website is truly your most important marketing tool. And we have this program called MOST that Marissa is going to talk about. And MOST is geared a lot towards having you, giving you information and giving you resources and providing you with tools that will enable you to have that website that stands out and that's going to attract people. Marissa, are you ready to talk about MOST?
I am. Thank you, Marilee. The next screen is going to show you the key statement of MOST, and I'll let you kind of take a gander at that while I chat a little bit about how we started MOST. We often got the question, how can I, and we still get this question, how can I do all of this, what's the golden nugget that I need to know to market successfully, or how can I do this cheaper? So we put our brains together and Marilee's strategies, and we came up with the MOST program to make something that allowed agencies to have very professional marketing materials on a smaller budget and to get those marketing materials and resources very quickly so that they can compete with the very large agencies, and also that they can find a strategy within all of the materials to choose from in the MOST Member Center that's going to work for their particular agency, whether they have a strictly online strategy or a strategy where they need tools and resources for their salespeople to go out and pass out to the referral sources. So that was how the MOST program sort of came together. And it really doesn't matter whether you're a small, new agency or you've been in business for many years. The MOST program will work for you. I believe this November will mark our 10-year anniversary with the MOST program, and believe it or not, we have had clients who are still with us who came in on those first months with the MOST program. So that should tell you a little bit about the success of how it's working. So what are some benefits? Well, before we talk about benefits, we've got this screen. MOST does work on a monthly basis. It's a monthly cycle, so you get your own login to the Member Center. And I always tell clients, because there's so much to choose from in the Member Center, it's really, really important to start with a strategy that really addresses what your agency's strengths are and who you want to market to and how you're going to reach them. So with that strategy in mind, our clients go into the Member Center with their login at the beginning of the month. They make their selections from a wide variety of different materials and services, and then we brand those materials for them throughout the month. If you've ordered blogs, we'll write the blogs for you. If you've ordered Facebook ads, we'll design those ads for you, and you get a chance to review and proof and provide feedback. We also have an added benefit with the MOST program that a lot of our clients take advantage of, and that is a webinar library with wonderful experts that have come and spoken with us over the years on different marketing and sales topics. So that, as a MOST member, is free for you to access whenever you'd like. And then back to the monthly cycle and the yellow. At the end of the month, all of the material is ready for you. We post it on your website for you. If you've ordered an e-newsletter, we'll send out that e-newsletter for you. We do all the dirty work to make it as easy as possible for you to serve your clients instead of having to focus on all of this complicated marketing stuff. Now let's talk about the benefits. With the MOST Member Center and using the MOST materials as they're intended to, you really will see more referrals from a wider variety of sources. You're going to get some more referrals from clients. People are going to start recognizing your brand. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to wonderful agencies that have a great reputation, but they say, nobody knows about us. They don't hear about us, or we want to expand into a new market, but we're afraid that we won't be able to compete because nobody knows us. Well, the MOST program is going to give you those materials, so that won't be a problem anymore. And people are going to see your agency as a resource and an expert in home care, and that is really going to bump up your reputation. Why do we recommend the MOST program? As I mentioned before, we've been offering it for almost 10 years now, and we've seen some wonderful results with our clients. They're getting more calls from the website, more forms filled out through the website. They're getting more referrals from different variety of sources and really growing their businesses. In fact, a number of our clients have actually sold their businesses successfully and retired on to other things. And don't take my word for it. We have won several awards over the years for not just the MOST program in its entirety, but for several of our individual marketing materials in the MOST program as well. So there's just some of the awards that we've won over the years. But enough of tooting our own horns here. Let's get back to what you're going to find in the MOST Member Center. So you can see a wide variety of different materials here, postcards, rack cards, flyers, any sort of print materials that you can imagine. Our e-newsletters are extremely popular, and I'll show you some of those in just a minute. But when we're talking today about website strategy, so I really want to point out that there's lots of wonderful materials in the MOST Member Center to help drive traffic to your website through social media and also content for your website. I have a lot of clients who use the blogs through the MOST program. They don't have time to write all of that content and create those educational libraries on their websites, and that's why they choose the MOST programs. We do it for them. And I know I've kind of barked up this tree once already, but I really think it's incredibly important to start out with that strategy. And if you are not good at creating a marketing strategy, or you'd really like an outside perspective on developing that marketing strategy, we can help. So don't let that stop you. We can certainly help you develop a marketing strategy. But to really boil it down into 3 different things, you really just start with identifying your marketing strengths and weaknesses, then identify your best targets, who are going to be your best referral sources, and then how are you going to best reach that target audience? Is it going to be through presentations in person? Maybe it's lunch and learns for social workers, for example. We have PowerPoints for that in the MOST Member Center. Or perhaps it's going to be through brochures and things that your salespeople can drop off in person to those referral sources. Or perhaps it's going to be a real focus on reaching consumers through online strategy. So now we're going to do the tricky little dance where Marilee's going to switch the screen over to me, and I'm going to show you some examples of what I've been talking about. All right, Marilee, can you see my screen?
I can.
Great. If you haven't checked this out already, this is the MOST for Your Marketing website, and this is the portfolio. So I just wanted to show this to you so you can check it out on your own if you'd like, but there are some wonderful samples there of different materials we've branded for our clients that they've chosen through the MOST program. Getting over to websites and what you can choose in the MOST Member Center for your website, I wanted to show you, this is Heaven at Home in Texas, and you can see on the sidebar of their site, they've got this little banner. This is a MOST banner, and it's advertising some educational content on their site. So if somebody has a loved one with Parkinson's, they may be interested in clicking on this and getting some more information. I know one of you had the question of, how do I keep people on my site longer? Well, here's a good way to do it. Give them information that is going to pique their interest, that's going to solve their problems, answer their questions, make life easier. So this is a MOST resource that we've put on the website for them, and you also have the option to have a downloadable version of this, so if people want to print it out, and then it's got your contact information on it and everything, so they can hand it to somebody else. And you can see they're building up a resource library. These are all MOST materials here, so that every one of these is going to be chock full of keywords, which is an SEO term several of you are probably familiar with. So when people are searching online for answers to some of these, questions like, how do I choose the best home care agency, there's a possibility that this resource page will come up for them. Here is another client in California. They have their resource library set up a little bit differently. So, and we can set up the resource library on your website however it works best for you and for your website. This is just a different way to display all of the materials that she's selected in the MOST program. The e-newsletters, that's a great way to reach people. We have 2 different styles of newsletters. Some of our clients don't have a blog page, or they don't want to work with blogs, so they have a newsletter with all of the content right in the newsletter, and these can be customized. You can see this client has they're highlighting one of the communities that they work with, and there's wonderful information here. These newsletters are good for your current clients, referral sources, caregivers, past clients. Great way to keep in touch. And this is a different version of the newsletter for a client that is interested in having blogs, where they have a snippet of the article and then they click the Read More, and it connects them to the website, and it's posted as a blog. And these blogs are also posted on the client's social media as well. So you kind of get a three-pack punch there. You get an email newsletter, blogs, and social media posts all in one. All right, now I'm going to before I go into the Most Member Center, there's one more thing that I wanted to show you that right now is super popular, and those are Facebook ads. And let me tell you, I've been doing some studying over the last couple of months over whether pay-per-click is more effective than Facebook ads or vice versa. And surprisingly, we have found that Facebook ads are much more effective than pay-per-click ads as far as cost effectiveness. You can spend less money on Facebook ads and get better results than you can through pay-per-click. That is, just an independent study, but it's all based on home care clients. So that's been very interesting to watch that. And we've gotten some great, clients are getting a lot of hits on their websites with these Facebook advertisements. And these are all ordered through the Most program. All right, so now I'm going to show you inside the Most Member Center. As a Most member, you get your own login to this. And this is the home page. So at the beginning of the month, clients come in here and they make their choices. A couple of things that I wanted to show you across here are that we do have lots of different categories of materials here, but if you have a specific referral source that you are looking to target and you don't know which materials would work well for that target, you can click our Target tab. And this has different referral sources, and each of these has a list of which most materials are going to work well for that particular target. And it's as easy as online shopping at this point. You come in here, you select what you're interested in, you can preview materials here. So here right now I'm previewing an item. You can see all of the text, some extra samples, and then when you go in to order it, you can see the price for that individual item. You can tell them, yes, I want to order this this is going to consumers, so I want a sales version versus a referral version. And then you tell the system which photos that you want. And we actually have human beings who are branding these items versus a computer. We found we're very high quality here at CoreCubed in the Most program. So we found that the human touch does a much better job of branding everything in a beautiful way. And you can see here that this item has different options for, if you want it designed as a postcard, an e-blast, or a rack card. If you have text edits, and this is nice because there's not many programs out there, any that I know of, honestly, that have these sorts of materials that come together really quickly like this. Usually they don't allow you any sort of text edits or any sort of branding of the full document. So that's pretty special with the Most program. I don't have any text edits, so I'm going to say no, and then I'm going to submit, and it'll bring me over to the shopping cart. So you can see it's very simple to order what you'd like to order. Now let's switch back over to the presentation, and we're going to talk a little bit about pricing and the availability of the Most program. The Most program is a pretty special program. And so it is not available currently everywhere because we only allow a certain number of clients per territory to be in the Most program. That's so that no two people are handing the same marketing materials to the same referral source. This map is showing you where we currently have Most clients. So if you happen to see your cities listed there, and you're really interested in Most, contact us. There's a possibility we may be able to squeeze you in, and if not, we can always put you on a waiting list. If you see that your area is green and you're interested, contact us right away, and we will get you set up in the Most program and secure your spot. Again, I will say several of our clients have been with us for many, many years, so it is a popular program. Clients tend to stay in it when they get into the Most program. So if you're interested, don't put off that selection. Get in touch with us right away. So what is it going to cost you? The MOST program is $1,000 per month. We have two different options currently. There is a 6-month commitment, and that's our traditional MOST program. That gives you full access to the MOST Member Center as well as that webinar library, so you get your own login. And we also have a 3-month commitment. We created that for brand new agencies who really are looking to build up their marketing materials for going out to referral sources. You don't get your own login with that option. All of the selections are made through one of the MOST members. And we get on GoToMeetings and help you make selections together. A few things I will mention about the flexibility of how you use those monthly dollars. You could see when we were going through the Member Center that that postcard was $300. So to give you an idea of what you might do with that $1,000, let's say you get that postcard for $300, an e-newsletter is $300. You could get a press release for $100, a note card for $100. So I'm only at $800 so far. You can get 2 blogs for another $200. So you can see you can get a lot of wonderful materials for a very reasonable price, especially when you start thinking about the fact that you don't have to design these materials. You don't have to research and write all of these materials. It's already done for you. It comes together very quickly, so it saves you time, and it's going to save you a lot of money from creating things from scratch. If you want to use the MOST dollars for custom work, let's say search engine optimization, which is a wonderful service that CoreCubed offers, you can do so. You just order them as vouchers in the MOST program, and then we will use those vouchers towards your custom needs. Similarly, if you want to save dollars for a future month, you can order vouchers for that as well, and they save for 3 months. Printing is not included in the pricing for the MOST program. That allows you to print through whatever printer you'd like to print through, and you can print small runs, big runs, whatever you'd like. And then you keep those press-ready files. Even if you drop out of the MOST program at some point, those materials are yours to keep. So at this point, we're going to show some testimonials on the screen, but at the same time, I'd also like to open it up to questions. So please, if you have any questions at this time, type them into that chat box you see on the corner of your screen, and we will answer them. I think everyone's thinking about what questions they may have. I don't see any questions yet. Marilee, is there anything that you can think of that our attendees should know that I forgot to mention?
Well, I think the home care industry has confusion over what is sales and what is marketing, and the component that we bring through the MOST program is that marketing component. So it's a strategic component that does work very well with sales. So, but it isn't directly related to sales, other than you are equipping your salespeople, or those people who go out and make the sales or make the calls or do the one-on-one contact. It really does equip people with those materials. But the whole focus of today was about using a website, and I think the thing about the using a website and how it works so well with the MOST program is that we've got this rich history of understanding the industry and understanding the consumer market in the industry and the referral market as well. So all of the materials that we are creating are going to be an immediate assistance for someone who is trying to get noticed when they have a website, and when they're starting down this road of how could they market. So it really is a different approach than anyone has. And as you said earlier, we're getting ready to celebrate our 10th year, and the fact that we have had clients with us for all of these 10 years is pretty astonishing. So goes to show the quality of it and how we keep up with the industry so well.
We do have a question, and it is, do you have any materials that would work for care management services? And I can answer that. We do have a couple of flyers that specifically address care management. You know, what is care management? Who would need care management? But I also want you to think about the fact that most of these materials are educationally based. So it's a little twist on what you're probably traditionally thinking about. A lot of people think about marketing materials as, I need to list all my services, I need to list what I do. Most materials are going to be answering the questions that people have. So people who need care management services are going to have similar questions. You know, how do I care for somebody with Parkinson's? I live out of town. How do I deal with this? And those are all questions that are going to be answered through the marketing materials that you can select in the Member Center.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, the audience may not know this, but I was a geriatric care manager for 17 years, and a lot of the material that we have is really very helpful to people because, as you just said, you are explaining issues, solving problems, giving them resources. And so if you have a care management practice, those would also be helpful to you. Now, obviously, if you only have care management and not home care, I don't think the program would work. I believe you do have to have home care in order for it to work. But maybe not. I'd have to think about that. What do you think, Marissa?
I think it could work.
Yeah, it might be able to. Most of our clients, actually 100% of our clients, do have home care, but some of them also have care management as well.
And I do not see any other questions, so here is our contact information on the screen. There's a variety of different ways to contact us. So if you think of a question after this webinar is over, please feel free to contact us. We have recorded this presentation and we'll have it up on our corecubed.com/events website, as well as our Most for Your Marketing website within the next day or two.
And I'd like to thank everyone for your attention today. You all have been very attentive, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And if you have any questions that you think of later, just contact us and we will be glad to answer those questions. So thank you for your time.